The 2016-2017 year has been honestly very different. You have had the U.S. elections, Duterte's drug spree, and the Guantanamo Bay are some of them that stand out. And we have mentioned all of these and many more over 15 and articles of the week. We have gotten to the point where there's been so much news, it's just a usual thing to hear breaking things. And I'm going to mention six of the most important ones. Three that I learned the most about, and three that were the most interesting ones. The one that I'm going to mention first, and it's the most important one, was the U.S. elections. You have two candidates, a person who manipulated the primaries and has lied multiple times, and you have a man who has said, who's racist, who has been bigoted, and has said that he likes to grab women by the you know what. It's not good. These two candidates could not be the best candidates we have. Well, Clinton probably wouldn't have won the primaries without Bernie, and had Bernie passed, he'd probably have won the elections by a landslide because voter turnout was pretty low, kinda because the two candidates were terrible. The North Korea situation has gotten to the point where Kim Jong Un, who's a big man child who throws temper tantrums with other countries, has just become upset at everything, and it's not good because he has nuclear warheads. He is a person of threat, and we cannot risk leaving him in a position of power. So you have places such as South Korea, which is at risk the most, and with the way tensions are going, I would not be surprised if South Korea gets attacked by North Korea in the next 3 years. Finally, you have the Guantanamo Bay situation, in which you have a prison in Cuba, which is where they send potential terrorists, which the reason they're there is because, or there's not any proof, but they just got a tip that they might be a terrorist, or you have little proof that won't stand up in court. And the reason they send them to Cuba, not to the U.S., is because in the U.S. they need to have a trial in 48 hours after they were arrested. Where in Cuba they can just be left for 12 years and nothing will happen. And then multiple times people were innocent, but they were still taken there, and it was just not a good thing to do. The three new ones that I learned the most about were the Confederate statues, Eric the Hyena, and Duterte's drug situation. Duterte's drug situation became something where the people that started killing other people, or their drug dealers, or their drug pushers, because the president said, do this and I'll give you a medal, do this and you'll be a national hero. And it has been affected. Over $14 billion in drugs have been recovered, has been confiscated. Over 64,000 arrests have been made, and over 1 million users have turned themselves in. It gives fear to the people, but you also have the risk of, for example, an innocent man getting killed, and he wasn't the first and he wasn't the only one. Which raises a question, should you permit the killing of innocent people to justify stopping the drug war? Like, to do the ends justify the means or not? There's also the Confederate statues, which was that in New Orleans, the mayor wants to remove, well, he has already removed the statues of especially Robert E. Lee, which was a Confederate general who has never stepped foot in New Orleans. And as a diverse place, you have people being totally in favor of removing the statues, and you have people being totally against it. Other than racist reasons, the reasons why people want to keep the statues is because it reminds it to you. You don't ignore the situation. It becomes kind of what they did in Belgium. If you remove it, you can just do like they did in Belgium. You remove it and you put it in a museum to remember the atrocities that happened. Because if you ignore what happened, if you ignore the Civil War, if you ignore slavery, then there's no point. You need to have a reminder. But also, then again, you're leaving up a statue that portrays people as heroes, as a Confederate general, as slave owners, as people who have abused and who have treated black people like they were animals. Finally, you have Eric the Hyena. Sorry, Eric was a man that gets paid by families and by people so he can have sex with daughters and so he can have sex with young girls. He is arrested now, but it was just straight up illegal. The girls were like 12, and it was like a way in puberty as a cleansing period. And it also could happen to widows, but it was basically a tradition, and he's HIV positive, which is a really bad idea, and it's good that he was arrested, but if the girls were legal, it would be totally different, because the age is 16 in Malawi, but they were still young. In conclusion, the way I get my news is from YouTube, from John Oliver, Trevor Noah, and a guy called Phil DeFranco who makes daily shows. I also go on Reddit a lot. They're my main sources of news, and that's why I'm always up to date, and I also have a good insight on what's happening in the world.